Hello and welcome to Stories, the True and the Fictional, the podcast that revolves around one central theme, stories and the people that tell them. We'll talk about movies, TV shows, video games, historical events and weird news headlines. There's really no topic we won't touch. But it doesn't stop there. If you've got a story, something funny or random that may have happened to you or a friend, send it to thetrueandthefictional@gmail.com. Until then, it's story time. Hello and welcome to this episode of Stories, the True and the Fictional. This is not a fancy intro because we both couldn't think of one.
It's not that we couldn't think of one. It's just that, have you ever had a day that is so hot that you go to sit down to think of an idea and then your brain goes, bleh.
Yeah, pretty much.
And that was me today. I had a concept this morning. I was thinking, okay, that's a cool concept. I should turn that into reality. And so I said, look, I looked at the time. The time was, say, 10. I was going, plenty of time to write that down. I'm going to have a quick nap. So I laid my head down on the pillow, as you do. Mm-hmm. Woke up and it was 12, and I was going, no, it's not that too long a nap. And so I laid my head back down, and then here we are. Now there was some in between bits in between that, but not by much.
Yeah, but look, because this is the last episode of the year, I think we can be a little bit chill, about it. We can be a little more cash.
It is, and what a year it's been.
Yes. As always, this episode is brought to you by Rebecca Cassells. Rebecca Cassells, I'm sorry, Rebecca, I'm that far out of it. And the Rising Dawn series. Check it out on Amazon. It's in Kindle. It's in paperback. And I hear that she's working on some Henry Cavill, Cat Graham stuff.
I hear, and absolutely, and I'm very excited about the idea initially was a short anthology, which is basically multiple, very good, multiple stories.
Yeah.
And I like that idea, basically, but I'm now leaning more towards maybe an arc of some kind. And I do like what you mentioned last week about, potentially, their unfortunate souls through history, constantly wanting to be together, but being denied by, the star-crossed lovers in that scenario. But that would involve a lot of planning on Rebecca Castle's part in terms of, mapping out, how could, where would they first meet, and how does the myth and the lore around reincarnation work? My thoughts on that one is basically when they die, our version of the nondescript heaven, because, we're trying to sell a book here, nondescript heaven with angels lowercase a and Michael lowercase m, sees basically the whole concept would be basically there are like 10 billion souls, and when someone dies they just basically go back up, come back down again, but they, because of the pain of their of the unrequited love, that they keep finding each other in every single time they go back down. And I think that would be a good story, packed full of, implied incest and, the usual smut that Rebecca can provide us that no one else can. But I think she can provide the emotional writing required for the depth. For this.
So you want emotional smut, essentially?
No, look, classy smut.
Classy smut. Oh my! Well, they're British, so it's automatically more classy.
But let me put it this way. The kind of smut that if someone was to take this and just remove all the smut, they would still have a very solid, Netflix film.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's it works as a PG and
it's enhanced. MA. It is enhanced by the nakedness. Yes, I'll say, not denying that. Yeah. But it would stand alone as a Christmas Netflix special.
Okay, cool. Well, I look forward to hearing from you, Rebecca. And we can work on that together. Scheduling it.
Scheduling. I think that's important. So, Jamie, you talk to a lot of authors over you
talking to a few. Yep.
you interview quite a few. Who's your favorite?
Wow.
Is it the one that pays the bills, or is it another random one?
This is a test. This is a test to see. No, look, I actually am yet to read much of Rebecca Cassells' work. I should, because she sponsors us.
That's I'm surprised she hasn't called you to task on that more, because I said to you, it's not your typical werewolf book. You'd probably like it. I have a few copies I got my copies on my phone. I don't actually have a Kindle, but I just went to my phone and went, download, and then it came. So I was like, ooh, nice, cool. nice.
Yeah.
And like I said, I have a wife and the sisters who read books of some not exactly his books, but other books.
Yeah.
And so I do know that mostly in these sort of it's wrong to label them female genre, but it's when a male writes a fantasy book or sort of like a romance book, it's only about human gets trapped on another world with a harem, like in various states of this particular. If you go to Audible and if you look up harem fantasy, there's like 1,000 books. So that's normally what males write about. But females write more about the single person, some of the romance angles, but rarely do they. But they normally sort of create the female character as a very blank canvas, so that the female reading the book can basically interpret her as the person that the hunky Henry Cavill is wooing. But in her book, there was a very strong sense of who the female character was, and that's what sort of made me continue on rather than just going female book.
Yeah.
So a challenge for you, Jamie, and I'll make it your New Year's resolution, which essentially is sample the sponsor's product, you dumbass.
I will. My problem is that I don't read much. I just don't read much. Like, I got a stack of books that I want to read, and I haven't gotten to them yet. So I need to make time. But I want to get Rebecca's book. One of them, now, probably the first one.
And where could you get this book? Now that you're going to take that plunge, Jamie, where will you go to purchase this book?
I will go to Amazon, because I'm a hard copy guy.
Oh, you will actually purchase the book.
Books were made to be opened and flicked and perused, not scrolled.
Interesting. So that's a hardcover man. If I have to use that terminology.
Yes, I am. So I will probably, when we finish recording, I will grab a copy of the first book in the Rising Dawn series. And I will check it out, and I will let you know when I've read it, and I'll let you know what I personally think. But I also want to, because he is a regular listener of the show, Martin Kearns. Shout out to Martin Kearns. I want to get a copy of your book too, Valor of Valhalla series, because the new cover that he showed us on our recent interview, freaking amazing.
Interesting. What is this book?
Beneath the Veil. It's the Valor of Valhalla series. He's got 2 in the series. I don't know if the second one's out yet. It's called Beneath the Veil.
Beneath the Veil.
Valor of Valhalla.
Valor of
is what it is. The series is called
Beneath the Veil, Battle of the. Okay, interesting. And tell me, and what is it about? Like, I mean,
you know what? I will read you the synopsis.
That's a cheap way of doing it, but okay.
David Dolan thinks he's already got the world figured out. But when a collapsed bridge plunges him into the icy Hudson, he's pulled deep into the deadly realm that exists between life and death. And with his earthly form trapped in a coma, he's vulnerable to the horde of demons hellbent on his utter destruction. Traversing the road to the afterlife, David seeks the wisdom and skills he needs to fight the demonic forces raining havoc on his allies above ground. But as one hellish threat closes in on his defenseless body, David must defeat another terrifying fiend waiting in the shadows to use him.
Interesting.
Can David escape the world beneath the veil in time to stop the bloodshed? Beneath the Veil is the gripping first book in the Valor of Valhalla dark urban fantasy series. If you like reluctant heroes, infernal myths, and bloody epic clashes, then you'll love Martin Kearns' formidable foray into the unknown.
I do enjoy all those things. So, all right, I might have to check this one out as well. So, all right, I think we've very clearly got our homework. You check out the actual sponsors book, and I'll check out some of the other, and I'll check out some of the other books you're providing the audience to.
Mm-hmm. There you go, Martin. You got some free promo on this episode
for now.
But look, he's great.
I will check it out, but because I've actually spoken to Rebecca and like Rebecca, I'll come back and give my opinion on, and I won't, and I might not hold back asking. I won't be.
Yeah. No, look, we've talked to a lot of people, and I genuinely, we haven't had any bad people on, I guess. There's a lot of great authors out there that are independently publishing, or some through a publisher, and
that seems to be the way of that seems to be more the way of the that seems to be more the way of the books these days, isn't it? To go the independent route.
No, well, it's easier. It's super easy to publish your own book. Like, it's insane how easy it is.
I mean, to publish it, yes. To come up with the idea, I would say, I think there's be a lot of people who are still writing right now saying it's very difficult because maybe not the publishing
writing
itself.
No, well, look, the writing. If you're good at writing, then it's easy. The point is, once you've written it and getting it out there, it's pretty easy to do yourself. Once you know how. The problem is the marketing,
right?
Getting people to buy it. I mean, I've been pretty, like, I checked our book sales on Letters from the Emu War. Plug Letters from the Emu War.
Mm-hmm.
We've sold about 30 books in the last month.
Okay,
and we don't market it. We don't advertise it. It's just there, and people just stumble across it and go, "Oh, buy that." That's
weird.
Yeah,
weird. But come September when you move to a publisher, obviously, I would imagine you will start. You will start promoting it probably.
Yeah, I will. But I think it's out at the end of next year. The updated version with new artwork. New artwork, new newspaper designs, and it'll, I'm looking forward to it. Are you
gonna remove some of the stories?
No.
Really?
We're just adding to it.
No, but I think some of the feedback from the reviews saying that there were some stories that seemed obsolete.
Oh yeah, but like when you if you're on picture that they're not emus, they're humans, right?
Yes. We've gone over this.
You'd still be interested in reading soldiers' letters, wouldn't you? To see how they think and like that, like, because that's what it is. Like, you're always going to have letters that are relevant.
Yeah, and I think it's really because they're like, I think they're like, as we're writing, I think the original concept was just random letters of the Emu War, but then obviously because we're Hamilton fans, and we probably we sort of wove in this tale of Edward Ed Longtow stepping down and passing on. He's not like showing him how to say goodbye, and this whole thing that we sort of like. I was like, I can't. I remember saying to you when I was actually writing that, going, "How do we do Hamilton but not do Hamilton?"
Yeah, no, well, look, and it works, like because it is a parody of. Ken
Burns documentaries. Of that Hamilton. It's
you could not avoid the Hamilton references and the presidential references.
I had one person who saw my book say, like, how come we didn't reference more Australian things like Eureka Stockade and other sort of Australian rebellions. And I'll be completely honest, I don't know enough about them to reference them.
Well, it would have been a really short book, because you know how long the Eureka Stockade lasted.
I actually did in high school, year 11, 12. I actually did the American Civil War, so I do know a lot about that. I also know a lot about. We also did the the Revolutionary War as well. So I am familiar more so with these topics than I am with Australian history, which is why I think the book turned out to be a little bit more like. and
that's funny. That's funny, because you know, and Australia's a multicultural. You know,
the one thing that I think, like, you know, hindsight's 2020. One thing I would really like to do is handwritten some of those letters the way they used to do it in the Civil War, which was because they were sending one letter, and it was only one letter, and then they weren't sure if they were when the next one's going to come. They used to write cover to cover, over the back, and then also even down on the indexing sides, they used to continue on with their writing. And that thing was just chock full of text. Yeah, and I was like, that would be cool to include one of those, but it's so hard to. That would basically. I was like, so hard to do, because like. Yeah. I was looking at some of the Civil War letters, going like, that looks so, like, that makes sense. Like, you're sending, it's not like texting. You're sending one letter. You don't know when the next one's going to come. This could be literally your last letter you're ever going to send. And so they had to pack as much into it as possible. But you know, it's also it's an amazing tale about. So if you want to check that out again on Amazon, buy the physical if you like owning books, but also it works pretty well as just a digital as well. But if you would like to hear about the one time that Australia lost a war to a bird, check it out. And no, I'm not exaggerating. Australia is, you know, one of, you know, all its military losses in its history. You know, we had Gallipoli, which it's lost. I know we'd like to say we were very brave. You say that when you lose, if you're very brave. You say that when you lose. You know, the Viet Cong beat everyone, so that's not a bad thing. North Korea was a draw. But then obviously, in one of the L columns, yes, birds.
Yeah, but like to me, it makes no sense that it was an official war. They got medals and everything. It's just hilarious. Like, I mean, just. And like, as much as we'd like it to be like Captain America or Endgame, where there's two, you know, armies lined up. No, it was four guys and 20,000 birds.
Okay, that would be a better movie. Or like, well, you know,
hey, look, we may be asked to do a sequel to this book. If it does well. So.
If it does well, I already have a plan. I won't.
Okay, we'll talk about it off.
I won't put it on air, but I actually do have a plan for a sequel. And you've probably and if you'll enjoy, if you like, you know, Clearwater Creedence in the Vietnam War, then you'll like
we're just gonna do all the wars.
Then you like this idea. I know that would give you a bit of a time skip, but. Look, I think we've covered that era.
The world's our oyster. I mean, look, there is no sequel to the actual war, so we can, you know, do what we want. You know, we'll talk about it off air.
But it's a very good, you know, I do want to send, you know, much like James Cameron, it's very good to do so every now and then, a good environmental message about things. Speaking of James Cameron,
yes.
We both went and saw the Avatar movie.
Avatar 2.
Now, the reason why we saw this was because I wanted to see it. I was like going, hey, let's go see Avatar. And our friend Mike, who is probably the biggest Avatar fan I've ever met, was very much like, was more keen than I was. And I was pretty keen, to be honest. So the fact that he was more keen was you know, shocking. But then we took Jamie along because, you know, Jamie was like going, I mean, he was like going, I'll go if you guys are going. Like, I'm not gonna say no. You know, and I appreciate that level of, you know, enthusiasm in life to say like, you know, that's like going, you know, who wants to join this cult? Jamie would be like going, well, I mean, if everyone else is joining, I might tag along and take a look. Nice kidding. But let me give my first impressions. Obviously, one, we saw it in 3D, which I thought was odd because I thought 3D was dead. But there we go. That's probably the best 3D you will probably ever see because no one's doing 3D anymore.
Yeah.
But if you're going to go see the movie, I would say yes, go see it in 3D because there are some moments where like I was sitting there going like, oh, that's cool. Like how like with some of the perspectives I was doing.
Yeah, like how you're on the ship.
Yeah, yeah. And also particularly all the time where they're sort of swimming through the ocean and things like that were like that really felt like, you know, the environment was there and like around you. And I thought that was much better than the first one in terms of that regards. I thought the characters were better overall.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's wise to minimize Sam Worthington's acting to basically short, sharp lines, fight scenes, and let the CGI carry his role rather than having him act.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Zoe Saldana was amazing. I thought she did an incredible job again. But if I'm going to talk about the one thing that I thought was, and let me talk about the two things that were. Let me talk about the two things. One, they had a marine biologist on, which was played by Flight of the Conchords guy. I can't remember his name now.
Oh, that's who it was.
He's the guy that needs to be basically with Taika Waititi at all times, make sure that he's writing. Make sure he's right. Jermaine, I think it was Jermaine. That's his name. He needs to make sure he needs to proofread Taika's work, or else if he doesn't, the Taika fails. This is the way. But it was just really weird. So they solved this whole unobtainium thing because that made no sense. They're going, you know, we're coming to this world to mine this rare mineral, unobtainium. That's the dumbest name of a thing ever. This time they're saying, hey, these whales, because of their brain chemistry, we extract a liquid that basically gives us the ability to
stops aging
completely. And I'm going, okay, no, honestly, that would be worthwhile going to a planet rather than, you know, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
What didn't make sense was that the person harvesting and everything was the marine biologist. I thought they cared about animals, and he's like going, harvesting the whale. But then he gets all snarky about going, oh, we shouldn't do it. Oh, it's so bad. So going, hey, buddy, you're doing it just as much as anyone else is doing it. Like, look, I get it. Like, you know, he's doing research, and sometimes
I think he was trying to play the conflicted angle.
I think he played it quite well because it's like, you know, there was an Australian that was basically like, you know, my worst kind of Australian that I hate the most, which is basically, you know, Jamie's kind of Australian.
Bogans.
Yeah. And I thought that played quite well on that one. But it's interesting, you know, people still do hunt whales today. So I do understand the message they're trying to come across, which is basically going, hey, should we still be doing that?
Mm-hmm.
And the answer is no, not really. Like, seriously. Like,
because we have electricity. Apparently they used to use whales for their oil.
The oil and the blubber makes sense. There's a million other ways we can do that. That doesn't involve us harvesting a creature that has shown signs of family intelligence that, whilst not at the level of a human, you would say is, you know, way superior than any other animal. So then you'd argue, should we be doing that? So again, I actually thought that was a very strong message in that movie. I also like that it was against being a pacifist. I'm a big fan of basically that James Cameron's like going, oh, look what pacifism gets you. Death. There's only one way to solve this, with your fists. And I like that because I like a good action film.
Yeah.
The one thing that I thought was really stupid was that they tried to get a 60-year-old woman to play a teenager. And it was just so stupid.
Yeah.
Like, if they wanted to make the avatar look like her, if they still wanted to have her do the mo-caption, fine, but just get another person to do the voice, because that like, hi mom, hi dad, oh, have you done your taxes yet? I mean, oh damn, I'm a kid. Oh yeah. I was like going, wow, that was bad.
Yeah,
it was really bad. What are your thoughts, Jamie?
Yeah, no, look. I think the only thing it really has is the visuals. Like, it is a visually stunning film. Like, you can't deny that, and that's the reason. Much like the Stargate episode I watched today, the one where they go to the planet and they're addicted to the light.
Oh, that's
Yeah. Well, like this, like you watch it and you can't look away. James Cameron was wrong. I didn't need to pee, or maybe I did need to pee. I can't remember because I was, you just visually, this is incredible. But again, the story was a bit cliche. There were no surprises. I just can't. He's just James Cameron is so bad at coming up with names for things. Because unobtainium or whatever.
Okay,
dumb.
yeah. Look,
that's dumb. And then there's 3 rocks, and he's like, "What do we call these 3 giant ocean rocks?" Well, there's these 3 rocks in the Blue Mountains in Australia called the 3 Sisters. Well, all right, we'll call it the 3 Brothers Rocks or something. And I'm just going, come on.
I don't know if that was a direct theft of Australian.
It had to. I reckon that is the Australian guy that played that douchebag killing whales.
The whale killer.
I reckon it was his idea, and James Cameron's like, "Yeah, that's good." Because it's just, some of these names, they're just stupid.
Look, I will. I will agree that the names are. Yeah, no, look, I can't. I was going to say, I was just trying to defend that. I was like, no, I can't defend that.
You can't. But
the names were. Yeah, no, look.
Look, at the same time, look, I don't regret watching it. I didn't hate it. It's definitely a movie you watch at the cinemas, and that's a good thing.
100% agree that it's one of those ones that you should see at the cinema. And I am somewhat happy that they have now broken even on there. Like, so apparently they've crossed the, like, also I do question the logic of making a film that cost $1 billion to break even. Like, that just makes no goddamn sense. But again, I'm not James Cameron, and James Cameron, to his credit, to all credit, is one of the greatest of the filmmakers that we have in our generation in terms of iconic moments in film. So again, he obviously knows what he's doing, so I'm not going to question that. But hopefully, because he's filmed them back to back, that means that the production costs is that this $1 billion to break even was to cover both films, which means that the second movie
will be pure profit.
Will be, there'll be marketing costs and visual effects costs and things of that nature. But it'll be a large just profit for him. But this movie, I mean, if this movie gets to about $2 billion, that's going to be very good for him. Like, it's going to, it's not going to get to 2.7. It's not going to get to 2.8. The 2.4. There's not really anything coming out until like February. In the movie, so like saying like 2.4 seems like a good number, and he should be, and like 2.4 saves the cinema industry. Like, basically, that's we got so used to basically watching everything at home in the comfort of our underwear. That I do find it interesting. I do find it difficult to go to the cinema. Like, I really do. Like, when's it coming on Disney Plus? When can I just buy it? I'll just buy it.
And like, I used to go to the cinema that's 20 minutes from my house all the time. Like, if I sort of wanted to see something, I wasn't sure, I'd just go down there and, see it. But I haven't been there in ages. Like, there just hasn't been anything that makes me want to go to the cinema.
Yep. And that's the thing, isn't it? That we're at that weird time now where, cinemas are dead. Well, dead-ish.
Well, look, maybe Avatar could be the movie that brings everyone back to the cinema.
For a time being, yeah.
I mean, at least for the next 9 months while it's in the cinemas.
But I think it's also important. I was hearing some other people saying it's important because they needed, like, the cinema, like big blockbuster movies can't just be superhero.
Yeah.
And I 100% actually, I really agree with that. I'm actually like very much on board with like going, yes, we need other, like, again, I love DC, I love Marvel. I'm very interested to see what James Gunn does with the new DC, his cinematic universe, which is going to be a brand new cast, which I'm like, we'll see. Again, I'll like, he's earned the benefit of the doubt, so I will give him the benefit of the doubt on that one.
Yeah.
But all movies can't just be superhero movies. Like,
yeah, 100%.
Like, we need other things as well. That's going to be like, we can't just have like artsy movies that go to the Oscars and superhero movies. Like,
you need that middle ground.
You need middle things, but you also need variety. Like,
so what
like,
you're saying, what you're saying is this current cinema is pretty much like old timey England, maybe Middle Ages, where it was like you're either poor or rich. There was no middle class.
There's no in between.
Yeah, so the blockbuster, is almost like the middle class between the like superheroes or whatever's making the most money.
Yep, I agree. And so I think that's a very important thing.
Yeah. Well, I read an article that said basically like Avatar and Top Gun Maverick show that we need other movies because they were so successful.
I agree 100%. I love, again, I didn't want to like Top Gun Maverick, but god damn, that Tom was Cruise. I hate Tom Cruise, but that was a fine goddamn film. Like,
yeah.
And I'm glad that people now see, like, yeah, we need, sci-fi, we need, military action, we need, other things apart from superhero. We need, and also not to put a final point on it, we need other things made by not Disney. Although, having said that, Avatar was made by Disney. Having said that, it was actually made it was filmed whilst like under Fox, so I'm not sure if I'm going to count that as Disney.
Yeah,
like it was a Fox production. But do you think? And I also like Top Gun. Do you think that was a bit of a fluke, or do you think that was intentional? Like,
I think a bit of both. But it was definitely needed, I believe.
Oh no! Like that was it. I don't want to be like all hyperbolic, but it's like that was one of the most important movies,
yeah,
that we had, because it was basically saying it doesn't just have to be superheroes.
Yeah, and like I think we know that the superhero movies are getting a little fatigued at the moment.
Superhero fatigue is a real thing. 100%. I do agree that it is a thing that we are getting fatigued of in the superhero movies. Maybe not so much the superhero movies, just but the people making them. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not sure if that's the.
Yeah, well, I think it's almost like we need a couple of years off. Between.
Yeah, like a break.
Yeah, because imagine if Endgame was the last one, and it was just like this epic finish, and then it just kind of nothing for a little bit. As much as I've loved No Way Home, Spider-Man No Way Home, it would have that space, time to, take it in. Because after I watched Endgame, I was in silence for a while.
You're right, and you weren't interested in watching other films. You weren't like going.
Yeah.
Oh my god, what's next?
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think what would you call that? A period of pause, a grace, like what would you call
intermission? Maybe intermission, or
Yeah. A break from the superheroes for a period of time. Not saying permanently, just put them in your pocket. And I've heard people say the same thing about Star Wars. And whilst I do agree with that one as well, I just think they just need to make good Star Wars again. Like,
Yeah, well, but like Star Wars has always had a gap between.
Yeah, correct. It was never like, you're right. It was more that your superheroes was more like your weekly TV series kind of thing, whereas like, which I get. But then also now I'm going, let's pull back a little bit.
And even with James Bond, the biggest gap between Bond movies was Pierce Brosnan and what's his name, current one, or the one that's just finished.
Daniel
Craig.
Daniel Craig, yeah.
Yeah, and they needed. I think they needed that gap because when Daniel Craig came back, everyone was like, "Holy crap!"
Well, yeah,
Awesome.
but that's because they had shit the bed so badly with Pierce Brosnan's last films that
Yeah,
you needed a break.
yeah.
And I do feel bad for him because it was not his fault that those scripts were
No,
terrible.
yeah,
Like he wasn't there writing that, going, "Oh, that's a good joke." No,
yeah,
but like
yeah.
they just got more ridiculous over time and then got terrible.
You mean the one with Starship Troopers girl?
Uh,
What's her name?
uh,
You know what I mean?
I,
Huge knockers.
well, that's not her name, but
No.
I do who you mean. And her
Yeah,
name just for some reason eludes me. But yes,
yeah,
yes, her.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, because she was like someone called Christmas,
Oh, and yes,
and I swear they probably just named her that
for the jokes.
for
Yes.
the joke. That's a funny joke. Let's call her Christmas.
Oh, look,
Um,
I am not saying that they didn't. I'm saying that they did that 100%.
Yeah,
It's like, it's like going, I don't want to give them the benefit of the doubt on that one because it's like, you're right. It's just, that's what they did.
yeah, 100%, 100%. Um, so for this episode, I guess we're going to be talking about the highlights of this year, the highlights of 2022.
2022.
2022, the things we like.
As 2022 is, as they say, in the bag.
Yep. And yeah, so why don't I hit you up with some things that happened this year that we may have missed.
Mm-hmm.
One computer game related and one Florida related, because
Outstanding.
I feel like I need to do a Florida segment, because when I look up for weird news and funny stuff that's been happening, most of it's coming out of Florida.
Outstanding.
But before I get to Florida, okay, this is something that happened in 2022. So apparently, you can order real life Domino's pizza in Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. So this is what the article says. It says, old games never die. They just become festooned with an increasingly bizarre series of mods. This one, created by a modder named Nicky's, allows you to order an actual physical Domino's pizza to your home by chatting to an NPC. It does also, yeah. I mean, you got to put your credit card info and all that play panel, pay or whatever into it. But you while you're playing Elder Scrolls, you can walk up to an NPC and then order a Domino's pizza, and it obviously goes through the internet, and then someone comes to the door with the pizza.
That's dangerous, because games look. Those guys need to go outside every now and then,
as we know from Skyrim.
We know from actually being Skyrimers ourselves. We're not saying oh, look at those nerds, because we fell headlong into that category.
Yeah.
So I'm not yet, but yeah, like I don't see that that seems dangerous to me.
Yeah,
I don't want to be one of those guys who's like, technology is destroying the world, but that seems dangerous.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, there's a reason that we only did Skyrim Weekend once.
because it damn near broke our minds.
Oh, it did. It was so bad. Oh.
Like I couldn't, I was walking outside felt weird.
Yeah.
Like looking at the scenery was odd because it wasn't right, because I just spent several hours, hours and hours running around as a barbarian. From my understanding, eating food that day, I just sort of shoveled it in my mouth and was really not really alive.
Yeah, and well, we took the dining room table outside, and we all sat outside.
Yes, because of the need of going outside. That was,
and all we could hear was ambient.
The ambient fucking all we could hear is the ambient fucking sound. Like, oh yeah, that was bad. Yeah. No, look, no, 100% agree. Like, as that's an interesting one, because modding never dies.
No.
But I know that if you talk to Bethesda, they don't like that, because they have that makes them no money.
Yeah,
that's also really fun. They're going, how does it feel to have this really successful thing that everyone's doing, but you're seeing like literally nothing from it.
Is,
And
is, is that why that when they released like one of the anniversary updated versions, they put all the mods on it?
yeah, because they want to make
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
Like, and they were making, and you make no money from that kind of thing because
Yeah. Yeah.
But look, that was a revolutionary game. I still say that now. Like that game
Yeah.
really like, that's one of my fondest memories playing that game still. And it's one of the like, even now I'll turn it on every now and then and have a bit of a play because it was that good because of it was fun. It was one of those good, solid, fun games.
100%. All right, let's move on to the next one. Let's move to Florida. You ready to go to Florida?
I am ready to go to Florida.
Okay. Well, this happened in Palm Beach, Florida. Deputies with the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office responded to reports of someone screaming for help at a neighbor's home on December 29th. Well, this is 2019. After showing up to the Lake Worth Beach home, the deputies soon discovered that the supposed victim was actually a parrot named Rambo.
Oh, that's so cool.
So the parrot was screaming, "Help, let me out. Help, let me out." And then it turns out like the owner introduced the parrot to them and said, "Oh, it's a parrot," because the parrot was like 40 years old, and when he was a kid, he taught it to say "Help, let me out" when it was in its cage when he was a little kid. So occasionally the bird just screams, "Help, let me out."
That's awesome.
That is
like
awesome.
I'm not even mad at like you wouldn't be even be mad at that kid, would you? You'd be like going, you know what? I'm not even mad at you. Like that's amazing that you've done. Wow. But I can imagine how annoyed the police would be.
Yeah.
Like they would be like going, okay, so we just wasted our time.
Yeah.
Chasing down the lead because this person taught the bird a really stupid thing.
Well, that brings me to okay. If you could teach a parrot to say anything, what would you teach it?
Good question.
And you can strategically place it in places if you want.
I would teach it to call out a bunch of random numbers. And then I would find like one of those like cafes or butcher places that have the number system, and then I would just put the bird there.
Six.
Exactly.
6.
Yes. Just
22.
Yep. You know exactly what I'm doing with the bird.
Or you could sit in front of like a table, like lotto numbers. Pick your lotto numbers. Oh, there's a million things. Yeah, random numbers. That'd be.
And you'd say, well, what fun would that be? And I'm going, no fun probably from the workers there, but for me, like fucking hilarious.
Oh, yeah. That's like what is it? Oh, there's some comedian who said like people don't realize how much power they have with a bike lock. Like you could just walk up to a store, you go, "You're closed today." Click. What
would you teach? What would you teach a parrot to do?
No, I like that I like the numbers thing, but I don't know, maybe something horror like. So I'd have it like in a dark alley, in some dark alley somewhere, and like maybe say Bloody Mary or some horror thing. The other thing I'd probably just teach it to say Stargate stuff, like "Come on, say."
Well, if we're teaching an animal things to speak, I actually wouldn't want to do it with a. I would actually want to do it with a raven.
Yeah, because they sound more human-like.
They sound more human, and they can do way more sounds.
Well, what about a lyrebird then?
I'm not sure how you can train them, but I know that ravens are just really like you can train a raven to basically go, "Hey, hi."
Yeah. No, with lyrebirds, you have it has to be prolonged, because if you know about lyrebirds how they mimic stuff. There was one that a friend of mine, he worked in aged care or a nursing home somewhere, and they got a notice from the council saying we're doing roadworks over here, so you may hear some trucks from time to time. And then like 3 months after those trucks had been there for a month or so, they heard trucks reversing. And then he wandered into where the, cut through this little bushy patch and then found a lyrebird going beep, 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 just doing the truck reverse. So they only have to listen to it for a little bit. And I don't know if you heard about probably a month ago at the zoo. I think it was Taronga Zoo. And there was a lyrebird telling people to evacuate. Just going, evacuate. And it was like doing the human evacuate. Yeah, they do babies crying,
That's awesome.
So look, I love the lyrebird. I love the lyrebird. Just how, because you just never know.
Yep, endless possibilities with a lyrebird.
Like, yeah, you could be in the middle of the bush and you could hear something and you'd be like, that could be a lyrebird.
That'd be also stressful because you don't know what's real.
Is that stressful though?
Not really. I mean, you're more of a bush human than I am, so
I'm more of a bush human.
Yes.
It sounds like a fantasy creature.
A bush human.
Bush human.
It is. You go into the bush more than I do. So henceforth, bush human.
Yeah, more than you, but rarely. Unless you, walking to my car is kind of bushy.
Mm.
You know what I found out recently?
What did you find out?
This blew my flipping mind. Okay, I park under a tree and birds just crap all in my car all the time, right?
Yep.
I wash the car and they wait for me to wash it, and then they poop all over. Like, consistently do it. I figured out that if you put a rubber snake on my car, they don't poop on it.
Really?
I've been doing this for about a week. Not a single poop on my car.
Does it have to be a good rubber snake or like?
I got a $10 snake from Amazon.
Okay, so you don't get like a.
You don't need, and apparently, you can even the sunshade that you stick in your windshield to make it, less hot.
Yep.
You could get a picture of a snake on that, and that works too, apparently.
Wow, birds are dumb.
But yeah, but I just no. Albeit, like I got a snake that looks real. It's like black, like a red belly black kind of snake, and it's like it has worked 100%.
Oh man, that's interesting.
Yeah, no, it's just it's life hack. It's just like, this is amazing. Where has it been all my life? I park under a tree.
I would not have thought that would work. I would have thought that eventually, like, an owl would just come by and like take it and be like, "Hey."
Yeah, well, no, I think the birds that are intelligent, like kookaburras, they're also the birds that don't poop on your car.
True.
So a kookaburra will probably land on my car and look at it and go, that's not that. Because I've seen kookaburras fly off with snakes. And
yeah, I know 100%. Like that, those kind of animals, I think probably won't get like. But then it doesn't sound like those are the pooping tree kind of animals, right?
No, the ones that poop in my car are currawongs. They're very annoying, and if we had lots of guns in Australia like they do in America, I would be out in the front every morning just firing into the tree.
Outstanding.
Screaming.
Would you be firing randomly or with some accuracy?
No, just randomly.
Of course.
And I'd be screaming like Spock did on episode 9 of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, which is bringing us round to our topic of awesome things that we discovered in 2022.
Ah, yes. Where are you up to now?
I finished it just today. Finished it.
Now, I'm assuming I can really go to that saying that your dad was thrilled to bits with that series, right? That's not.
Oh yeah, no, he loved it, but he needs subtitles, and I don't have subtitles. So he missed a few things, but he got the gist.
Wait, that's right. You don't have Paramount Plus on your Amazon, do you?
No.
get Paramount Plus because it's only like $6 extra.
No, I'll buy the DVD when it comes out in March.
Okay, yeah.
Because it's DVD worthy.
Oh no, 100%.
It is, and I'm very, very confused because it's something I'm completely conflicted with.
What?
One, it's Star Trek, and I like it, which is weird.
That's weird, I know, right?
Two,
I'm right. I'm like a Trek fan now. I was like going, yeah.
Number two, IGN gave it a 10 out of 10.
Yes.
I never agree with IGN. I rarely agree.
No, they're very wrong all the time.
And I'm like, but there's nothing woke about this series. You know,
no, this is just classic Trek. This is just like as it should be. Like it doesn't have to be woke. Because Star Trek was always fairly a liberal in terms of its concepts, in terms of we've solved into turmoil, and we've built utopian societies, and then and then they're going around to these planets and they're trying to follow the prime directive by not interfering, but then they're also going like they're literally eating babies. Should we like let them eat babies or not let them eat babies? But maybe let's just try to convince them not to eat babies.
Yeah, it's a little less in your face than Stargate.
No, Stargate was your culture's wrong.
Like how can we convince you to change your ways?
that was. So that obviously, Star Trek, that's just the US military like dicking around. But you see this one where they've obviously figured out that, and they've got like systems in place where they're saying, we can't interfere with them in their development of the society, even though one of the coolest times is when I think it was the first episode where Pike did just interfere. He went, fuck it. Like he just went.
Yeah. And it was like, oh my gosh, aliens. And that was really cool. I really liked that first episode where it was, like they're like this planet very similar to Earth, but they're like, oh my gosh, aliens. Like the Starship Enterprise is the first. Oh, you're just like, yes.
Yeah.
And it's cool. I really like that it's early on. First contact kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I like the message you were saying, which basically saying you are teetering towards civil war. We've been there. We had our World War III. Don't do we learned from that. But that we learned from that at the cost of countless lives.
Yeah.
What did you think of the introduction of a young Lieutenant Kirk?
Oh, I loved it, honestly. And he nailed that. The casting in this show is phenomenal.
No, I love him because he's obviously a Vampire Diaries fame. So to bring it back to our other conversation, he's actually met and also worked with Cat Graham.
Oh,
so he's royalty in that regards.
Yeah. So anyone that's been near Cat Graham and anyone that's spoken to Cat Graham,
well, he's worked with her for quite a number of years as well.
Yeah.
But because one thing that I think is for people when we see the Star Trek, because the 60s version is very campy and very cheesy, and it's very, very fun. But they sort of emphasized what was meant to be what they was trying to do, which basically which is Kirk was like the rising star of the fleet, and he had all the potential and all of the thing, and Pike's obviously looks at it and notices it, goes, oh yep, I'm gonna bring him on as a lieutenant. Maybe tamper down some of his more cowboy behaviors. Try to tamper down that recklessness. But then and so that's great. But then that was the whole point of J.J. Abrams one, was basically taking doing the accident with his parents that would make him not go to Starfleet, and then that's why but then having to restart the journey, because it's in the original timeline. Yeah, he was never a bumbling idiot. He always was basically the height of Starfleet, but a touch basically cavalier in certain circumstances.
Yeah,
and they showed. I thought they showed that extremely well. So what did you feel about when that guy died? From with the
so we're talking spoilers.
Oh yeah. You know what?
It-
The
it-
show's been you were late to the show, so
Yeah.
screw everyone else.
It broke my heart.
Yeah,
I love that
yeah.
character.
It was was that were you just like going, no, I was like, screw you, you stupid.
Yeah, it was. And
fucking
it was the best way to go out.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm. Making
Yeah.
parting on words of wisdom to a Lieutenant Uhura who wasn't sure if she's going to be a Starfleet person. He's like, yeah. Then like obviously like giving her that nudge in that direction. That was just it's really funny that people thought the Gorns were the most stupid looking alien ever.
Yeah.
And this one they've turned them into these like nightmarish like
yeah.
like these nightmarish hunters.
Yeah, essentially.
I thought that was I actually really liked that episode because it was like
Oh no, that was great. But there was a few episodes I was like like they just felt like filler, and I wasn't overly excited. Like the one where they're addicted to light, I'm like And
is that because you also watched the Stargate episode that was very similar to where they're addicted to light?
No, maybe, but then I watched the one addicted. I watched the Stargate one recently after I'd watched that one, so I hadn't even thought about it. But there was that one and the fantasy one was it's just weird. It felt out of place.
But did you? But I mean, the fantasy one was very much a throwback to the 60s. That was very much and also I think you could also tell that the actors were having a lot of fun. Yeah, the character who played Pike looked like he was having an absolute ball. But
I also feel like that kind of episode is too soon in that series to do that kind of episode.
But I think they weren't sure if they were going to get another one, so I think they were sort of like going, "Let's just do this because we have." But then I don't even know I don't think they knew what they had in terms of when they did that show. That because that when they released it, sort of like Discovery was on the way down, and we said, "I hate Discovery." They said, "Let's try this." Oh my god, this is people like this.
Let's try give people what they want.
I know, crazy concept. But I mean, it's interesting because obviously they mentioned Khan a few times and his people. Which is obviously reference to things, portends to things to come with their and with obviously Starfleet's very clear policy on human genetics, and you can't. You can't make yourself a super soldier.
But I honestly I'm weirded out at how easy it is to transform an actor into like a Vulcan kind of thing. Like because when they did Spock without his Vulcan ears, you just look completely different.
Oh yeah.
And it's just pointy ears changes how people look.
It's also a bit pointy ears, the weird shape of the eyebrows, I think, as well.
Yeah.
And the the weird shape of the eyebrows and the mannerisms very much would be I think a key part of that as well.
Because he's great. He's a great actor.
Yeah, no, like you couldn't have done they really nailed Zachary Quinto, whatever his name is, this guy. I think they really nailed Spock well in terms of getting that casting right.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. All right, what else have we loved this year, Chris?
Well, let's briefly. I'll talk about it briefly because Jake, you didn't like it or you haven't watched it yet. Cyberpunk, Edge Runners, on Netflix. The thing that basically revitalized Cyberpunk. After that series, everyone goes, "Okay, Cyberpunk. Where's the next? Let's go. Let's more Cyberpunk and more." Because it was exactly what the game should have been. It understood they understood the concept, and what is even more funny is all the stories that came afterwards, where the Western studio was talking to the Japanese studio, going, "I don't think you can do that because I don't think it fits. I don't think it's problematic." And the Japanese studio is going, "Don't fucking care. You signed a contract. Our decision's the final. Meh, we're doing what we want." Then the character they thought was problematic is everyone's favorite character, and it's going, "Oh, so apparently if you just write a character that's good, and maybe overthinking what people would view as problematic is probably a bit too much overthinking."
They've been on Twitter too much.
I think so. And it was really funny that they that was from an interview with the people from CD Projekt Red, all the Tell Story team. They were saying, oh, we said that we didn't like this character. We thought they should change it. The Japanese studio like dug their heels in, so we let them do it, and everyone loves it. I'm so shocked. It's like going, oh, really? Like this is what's shocking you about this. Yeah. But let's talk about. It's been an interesting year for cinema.
Mm-hmm. I don't think there's been too many good flicks, to be honest.
Let's look at the movies of this year.
I wrote down a few that stood out, but obviously the most recent stuff I've seen, Spirited, the Will Ferrell and Ryan Reynolds Christmas Carol movie, fantastic. Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio.
Yep.
Using Jim Henson Creature Shop as well.
Yep.
So that was fantastic. Sorry, Disney, you failed yet again. And Guillermo del Toro did a better version of Pinocchio than you.
Makes sense.
As much as I love Tom Hanks.
So let's talk about some other movies that were sort of prevalent in the box office. So we've talked about Maverick. We've talked about Avatar.
Mm-hmm.
Jurassic World Dominion, $1 billion made.
Wow.
At the box office.
So that broke $1 billion.
Yep.
Cracked $1 billion.
Once again, proving that people do like Chris Pratt, regardless of what Twitter says.
Yeah.
He is still
he's the most likable guy.
He's still very, very liked. Yeah. Good movie. I like that. I know that some people didn't like it as much as I did. But I don't know. I think maybe they were expecting wanting too much from their dinosaur film.
No, well, I guess they all want the first one forever and ever and ever and ever. I still stand by the first two I love, because that was my teenage years was Jurassic Park and the second one.
And let us not forget, Jamie, that third one gave us the greatest thing of all time.
Alan. Yeah, and the dinosaur that ate the cell phone.
Honestly, that alone might give them that alone is enough to that alone. You say
there's a lot that doesn't make sense about that movie. But
it doesn't matter.
Again, when it came out, it was a fun watch. It
was okay.
But when you go back to it, you go, yeah. And then Jurassic World, I loved, because that was just nostalgia fest.
That was a great film. I thought that was a great way to relaunch the franchise.
Yeah, man. No, but look, I liked Dominion, and I liked the extended edition as well. It was a good way to end the series with dinosaurs living amongst people again.
Yep, and I thought that was honestly, I think you couldn't probably end it. That was probably the best.
Yeah.
I think that was their way of saying. I think that was the director's way of saying, "That's it, we're done." This is it.
And he had that. I'm pretty sure he said he had that ending planned before, while he was writing the first one. So he knew that how he was going to end it.
That makes sense, and that's good.
That's good.
He had a vision, and it was clear to him,
mm-hmm.
and then he was able to stick it. Basically, as I would say, stick the landing, quote unquote.
Yep.
But one thing I liked about Dominion was obviously that they solved the Uber Raptor problem.
Mm-hmm.
From the first one, where they actually, but how they fixed it made sense to me now. I was like, okay,
yeah,
that's cool. Another one with Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. So I think that one we just had a lot of expectations coming out of Spider-Man.
Yeah,
and I'm not sure. Look, was it good? Yes. Could it have been better? Obviously.
Yeah.
But it wasn't terrible. There were still some fun moments in it.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure that Raimi was the right choice.
Yeah.
And the Wanda thing, I know she was very popular with WandaVision. The WandaVision was was somewhat popular.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was popular enough to sort of put her so much into the it wasn't. I don't think it was popular enough to really carry that her as the main villain. And obviously they wasted some perfectly awesome cameos, and now we'll never get to see them in real life because of whatever. Again, minor things, but
mm-hmm.
again, still was a profitable movie for Disney, so they should be very happy with that. Taking
people love Benedict Cumberbatch. So.
People like Benedict Cumberbatch. Now let's talk about another movie that was considered successful, which is The Batman.
The Batman, yes. I've only watched it once though.
I watched it a few times and I love it.
Well, obviously I like it because it's different. It's not the same Batman movie.
Yep.
I mean, they're all a little bit different, but this is like, hey, Batman the detective.
This is the best detective Batman they've ever done because he actually was a detective. Like he was actually doing detective kind of things. Like
yeah. And it had that noir feel, which is awesome.
Yep, and it made sense how Batman got trained to be Batman in this one.
Yeah,
was that
Alfred was ex-special forces or something? Was
yeah, so he referred to his time at the circus, which is what they called MI6 at the time.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
So he was basically he was former British spy. Yeah. And so, so he trained Batman. And that made sense as well, how Batman fought, which is basically fear. Using fear. Like I love that whole thing where basically he realized, it's like, I can't be everywhere in the city.
So do you prefer that over him being trained by Ra's al Ghul?
Him being trained by Ra's al Ghul just basically makes him another League of Assassins person.
Yeah.
And I think it's more I actually do like, I'm probably sure there's some Batman people going.
Ryan, are you listening?
Right, yeah. But I do like that he was trained by. I do like that story arc because to me it makes sense. Like going okay.
Yeah. But then it's gonna change Alfred because my favorite Alfred is Michael Caine.
Yeah, it does change Alfred to be a bit more of a stronger role in it.
Yeah,
but also that also does solve some of the other problems with Batman, where it's like going, how does Batman get all this stuff? How does he get how does he know ciphers and things? Where like this one is like going, yep, like he woke up and Alfred had already half solved the puzzle and gave it to him, saying, hey, yep, I've been working on this cipher. Here it is. Yeah. What do you think? And then I like the whole recording thing that I had with these eye things where it was recording. Catwoman was amazing in this one. I thought that was like the best Catwoman they've ever done.
Really?
Oh yeah, without a hands down. Zoe Kravitz was amazing as Catwoman. I thought, could not do any better than what they did with Catwoman. Than what they did. One of my favorite, and obviously, who doesn't like the Zodiac Killer? For some reason they called the Riddler in this movie, which is okay. That's not the Riddler at all.
How can we like take Jim Carrey and make him not Jim Carrey?
I mean, but also Jim Carrey wasn't the Riddler. They just
no.
Yeah.
They just went, how can we take the Riddler and make him Jim Carrey?
Yeah, but with this one they went, what can we do? I don't know, people like serial killer things on TV. Okay, let's make a serial killer. Which one's the best serial killer? Oh, Joker. How can you? No, sorry, Riddler. Let's just make him the Zodiac Killer. And like even the way the guy looked, they made him like look like the Zodiac Killer. Yeah. I was like going like, okay, cool. I can see what everyone goes. Yeah, that's where you got your inspiration from. It's very, very, very clear. Yeah, that was a very, very solid film. And I know that there's rumors now where like Matt Reeves says no, where my universe is standalone. And apparently there's also talks, apparently also Warner Brothers might not want that.
Yeah.
And apparently they're trying to cast younger versions of their other heroes, so eventually they could just merge it all into like, and honestly, I wouldn't mind if they did that, mm-hmm. I don't, I know that's, I thought Patterson's Batman was a very, very good Batman.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people complained initially. Even I did it, I'll be honest. And they said, like we said, he didn't really want to do training that much, or didn't feel he had to make his body look like a complete tank. But then also when you saw how he was fighting and, the kind of Batman he was, it was like, okay, that makes more sense that you're not, you're not that kind of Batman. But also you're not that kind of Batman yet. Yeah. You're an early stage Batman.
Yeah, it was like year 2, isn't he?
Yeah, year 2.
Yeah.
But my favorite scene of, and it's actually one of my favorite scene of all Batman movies now, was the opening, where like the symbol goes on, And then like the guy looks into the shadow and then just basically freaks the fuck out, even though even though Batman's not there.
Yeah.
It's enough. It's like that. Like it's like seeing the symbol and seeing
genuine fear.
And I'm going, yes, this, because yes, Batman couldn't be everywhere, but that's not the point. The point is he could be where you are.
Yeah.
So basically, it's saying to the criminals every single time you're doing a crime, you're saying to yourself, is this the time where I get the absolute shit beaten? I mean, and also like let's be honest, when Batman does a beating, you're not just walking out there with a few broken bones and everything. You're walking out with like severe concussion, head trauma, like he beat those dudes so badly at that train station that even the person he saved was afraid of him. Like, So again, love that film. Loved it. Awesome. A film another one that came out, I didn't really see it. Did you see the Elvis film, Jamie?
I did watch the Elvis one.
What did you think of that one?
Look, it's pretty long, but no, look, I don't know enough about Elvis to know if it's completely fabricated.
It was made by Baz Luhrmann, so I assume everything was fake.
No, not everything. I mean, look, I enjoyed it for what it was. It was.
It's a very Elvis is a very controversial figure to do.
Yeah.
Because of. There's two schools of thoughts on Elvis, which I've been listening to people talk about Elvis now for a while, where they're saying, did he steal from African-American culture, or did he just grow up in that area and, people that he had friends who were in that industry? But one thing that I think we can all agree on, that the reason why he was signed was because they saw a white kid who played the blues music, and they went, we want that. But we don't want that we want it in this color, not the other. So I do agree that why he was probably got signed was because
they in the film they play into him growing up in that culture. Like he'd always sneak off to the gospel church kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I found out that wasn't in the movie that I was like, this should have been in the movie, and it's an actual true thing about Elvis, is that I can't remember who it was his girlfriend or his wife at the time, but he used to lie in bed with his lady friend or wife or whoever and do Monty Python skits because he absolutely loved Monty Python. So there's Elvis lying in bed going, "What you doing, Brian?" You're like doing all this funny little English
I don't know how that would have gone down, but
no, I know, sure. But it's like, because one of the I heard an interview with one of the Monty Python guys, not John Cleese, the other guy. I think he's the guy that's at the end of Life of Brian on the cross that goes, always look on the bright side. Yeah, that guy. He said he found out about that Elvis used to do their skits just in bed. And that's pretty funny. But yeah, look, it's entertaining.
Briefly touching again, this year we also saw two. I won't call them disappointments, but I will call one of them a disappointment. So we saw Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, which I thought that was fine. I'm not going to say that was a bad film.
Oh no, but
it was okay.
Do you want me to ruin it for you?
Yes, please do.
Do you want to know what the original script was? If Chadwick Boseman was still alive,
please tell me.
It was a father and son. Apparently, it was a father and son tale, where he's teaching his son about the Wakanda way and all that stuff, and then gets called off to like war or some kind of threat, and he's got his kid on his hip essentially by his side, doing this kind of God of War kind of teaching this like that would have been amazing, like honestly. But
that's okay. You know what? I'm sad now. That's fine. All good. The other disappointment that we can all agree is disappointment was Thor: Love and Thunder. Again,
don't remind me.
This has spawned this whole concept of let Taika Waititi redirect. If Jermaine's there, then let him write. If he's not there with him, then he can direct only.
And like we've said, we've probably said this a few times, he's great at adaptation. When it comes to, hey, here's a book, let's turn this book into a movie. He's great at doing that.
Yeah. And I think improv works in some circumstance.
Yeah, like when you've got a solid script.
But you need a script and then do improv. You can't just come in and say, let's do improv.
Because like hands down, Ragnarok is still one of my favorite movies.
Yep. But that was, as we all know now, it was written by someone else and he just came in and shot it.
Yeah.
So again, yeah.
But and again, wasting a great casting. Christian Bale should have had more screen time. He was fantastic, but he wasn't there enough.
Yep, he was fantastic. I thought he did like
that opening gave me hope.
That opening was amazing, but then his whole entire plan, as we've discussed it before, was stupid.
Yeah,
gods don't care about anyone. They're selfish. I'm going to kidnap these people because I know Thor, the god, is going to come save them. Doesn't that then defeat your purpose of gods? And then also what they did with the gods and Zeus was what I would consider a literal sacrilege to do with the god of thunder, to make him like dancing his little skirt going
blasphemy.
Like no, that's the god of thunder, and even in the Marvel world, he's like a big fucking deal. Like again, maybe Taika Waititi like decided that we need to have 12 jokes per minute and just like non-stop.
Yeah, and like, you know how we have Korg? Let's do that with everyone. Everyone needs to be that ridiculous. Like
no, you know what it is. It's like so he threw a dinner party called Ragnarok. People ate the steak. That was amazing. They had the chicken and everything, and then he served dessert. And the dessert was called the Korg chocolate cake. And people ate that. He went, that was just a truly, I didn't expect that. That was amazing. And he went, that's what they want. So the next meal, it was all chocolate cake. And then he went, why don't they're going, no. That's good in moderation.
Yeah, you've got to earn the chocolate cake.
You need the other pieces as well as
I like that analogy.
The chocolate cake.
Yes.
I know when my brain turns on, it does do things. Just today, my brain was like going, "It's too hot, Chris. Fuck off." Like it was like going, "Fuck off." We'll work on an amazing poem for next time, which is
next year. We'll crack off the year with a banger. But what about Sea Beast? Remember Sea Beast?
I remember Sea Beast. I can see why, like, Netflix went hard after the Pixar guys who left Pixar when they were angry.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember why they left. I can't remember why they left or something. Probably monetary disputes, probably more than anything else. But Sea Beast was amazing. And it had a very strong environmental message as well. I thought that was very good. But again, we watched it, and I think you and I, Jamie, like we said, we had zero expectations of it.
Yeah, and then we loved it. We're going, this is
amazing. Yeah. I'm so happy when that happens, when there's like this random movie. It's just an absolute gem. And Sea Beast, absolutely, we can't forget about that one. Moving on from movies, TV series, I'll briefly touch on that. House of Dragons was the surprise of the year. Everyone loves Matt Smith, so once again, incest is popular again because Matt Smith. I think it's very clear with people's hate for incest. If it's Matt Smith, it doesn't count, so it's fine. I'm like going, that's I thought he did very well, very, very good. If he doesn't win some sort of award, the entire award system is like,
okay, where would you place him next to Cavill? Because he hasn't had any roles like Cavill.
He hasn't. I think he's a much stronger. Actually, no. Let's be honest. Okay, I love Henry Cavill, but Matt Smith could outact him asleep.
Really?
In a paper bag with both hands tied behind his head.
Yeah. Well, he is the reason I got through Morbius, to be honest.
Yeah. There is an episode in House of Dragons where he doesn't say a single word.
Yeah, I heard that.
And it is the most amazing episode you'll ever see in your life because of his acting.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to, even with these hand gestures, the way when he looks at someone, he doesn't speak. But you know exactly what he's saying. You know exactly what he's thinking, and you know exactly what he's going to do. It is just one of those, like, honestly, it's one of those things that when you watch the episode, you go like, if you're teaching acting and you're saying how do I show through like non-verbal commands, you go watch that episode. Yeah. Okay, did you get that? Right, now this is what you this is what you do. Truly amazing. And look, I love Harvey Keitel. He's charming, great actor, but Matt Smith is just
Matt Smith all the way. Yeah, no, I've seen him do different roles.
Yep, and that's the thing. Matt Smith does, because obviously he doesn't have the looks of Cavill. He does have to actually, when you have the looks, you can sometimes not work on your craft. Matt Smith is a man without eyebrows. He must work on his craft constantly. I'm pretty sure. He has, I'm pretty sure. I think he's ever said it, but I'm pretty sure he has that. There's a condition that you lose your eyebrows, because he used to have eyebrows. I remember that.
No, well, I know there's a condition where you have zero hair on your body.
Yeah, but that's it. But there's also one that just
the eyebrows.
To the eyebrows, because I'm pretty sure he had eyebrows and lost them. Maybe he just shaved them off. But I would imagine that's more of a disease thing than him just deciding it would be awesome if I didn't have eyebrows.
Or maybe he's like, you know what? I'm going to prove to people that I can act without eyebrows.
Well, so he went going, this acting thing's too easy. How can I make it more challenging?
Yeah, well, he watched Tilk in Stargate do the eyebrow raise. And
yep.
I can do that without eyebrows.
Okay, look, I won't disagree, but with that.
All right.
But so let's just quickly wrap it. We won't wrap it up. Let's just talk about. We got time. Let's talk about video games for a little bit now.
All right, video games. God of War. I'll take it. I finished God of War recently.
Oh, what did you think of the ending?
Look, safe. I felt it was safe. A safe ending. It was,
It was a good wrap up of the North Saga, though. I thought
it was good. It was a good boss battle. I loved that Atreus is going off. So spoilers. Atreus, is off on his own adventures. That he's growing up. Probably going to return to California with that accent of his. But no, look, I liked it. I thought it was great. The actors in it. The dude from Lost World, Jurassic Park, Lost World.
Yep.
Played.
What did you think of their take of Odin basically being the mafia don?
Yeah, it was a little weird, He was
like,
and it took some getting used to, because I'm oversaturated with Marvel. And Heimdall, turns up, and I'm going, you're not Idris Elba.
Yeah, exactly.
But by the end of it, I was used to it. And I loved that Sif was perfectly casted.
Yeah, I thought that was good casting.
Casted. I don't know the actress's name, but she is Drake's wife in Uncharted 4.
Yep.
Yeah, I forget her name.
So you thought the ending was safe.
Look, I wasn't shocked. I wasn't surprised. I could see it coming, essentially. But it was a good fight. And I wasn't disappointed or anything.
Yep. I thought, I think you're right. They played it a bit. They played it safe. I guess, I know a lot of people saying, why didn't it win Game of the Year?
Because the last one did.
One, because whilst it was a very, 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 very good game, it didn't do anything different really from the first one.
Yeah.
And Elden Ring, the game that did win Game of the Year, was a complete, a complete departure from what they normally do. It was an open world where they don't do it. It was completely different. So I understand why they went, okay, this is going to win this is the Game of the Year over that one. But yeah, I think, but is it me? I mean, I didn't think this year was a very great Game of the Year. You probably disagree because you
no, well, look,
you had a few more things to play that I didn't sort of really play.
Horizon Forbidden West came out, and I played that three times through. I thoroughly enjoyed that.
That's right. Yes, I don't know why I didn't like. I liked the first one, but I wasn't like.
Well, the first one was unique, never been done before.
Yeah.
You knew how much it blew my mind, the first one.
Oh yeah. You wouldn't shut up about it.
I was just like, I still won't shut up about it. you know, and then I'm playing it, and then there's a family friend that looks exactly like Aloy when she was a kid, and I was just like, and every time I see her now, I'm just like Aloy. I gave her a Christmas card, and it was like, "Merry Christmas, Aloy." You know, I just,
Wow.
I just lean right in, and she's like, ah, but she looked exactly like her.
Is that exactly the ha 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 she does, where she's like,
yeah. Like going like, oh, when are you gonna fight machines?
does she at least know a little?
No, she knows not. Like she's seen me playing it, you know, and her brother playing it, and that. But it's funny.
She should take that as a compliment.
I know she should, because I said when you turn 19, I'm going to I'll give you the bow and arrow and dress you up. You cosplay it. Yeah, no, but look, the second one, all they did was just make the world bigger, and like it's ridiculous. Like that video you sent me of like, you know, that girl that watches her boyfriend play games is like does a YouTube channel, and she's like, "What are you doing? That go around and get like it's just too much stuff to do. You got to do this. You got to get
girlfriend
that.
Reviews. Love that channel. It's a great channel.
Yeah, so that was true. But then there's like, you know, the you could fly in this one. You could, you know, it was a lot harder to kill machines, and the story was, you know, decent. Some cool twists. It became more, you know, university, I guess you could say. And look, but it didn't have the magic of the first one. But I still loved it because it was a great game to play.
Now, question.
Yes.
Do you want them to make another one, or would you want them to move? Would you want that studio to move on to do something else?
No, I reckon one more. It feels like a trilogy because they left it open again. It feels like a trilogy, but I'd only want one more.
Okay.
To be honest. I mean, if they do another 2, I'd still play them, you know. Unless it ends up being The Last of Us 2, then I'll play it once.
Now, you mentioned it. Do you want to? I'm not going to talk about it because I think you're right, Jamie. When the first one came out, when I finished the first one, I said I don't want another one.
Yeah.
And I stand by that they shouldn't have done another one. But I do get like they're a company that wants to make money.
Yeah.
So if something does well, they're going to make another one. Yeah. But I just like for the like, and I love capitalism, as you know, Jamie.
Yeah. Yes.
You know I love You know I love capitalism.
Mm-hmm.
But I would love them to say no. We're done. This is art. It's going to stand on its own. We are not doing it another one.
Yeah.
I would love them just to take the balls to take that stance and be like, no.
No, well, look, the problem,
we did it. We nailed it.
The problem with the second one is they had a great idea. They just didn't stick the landing. Like I could see it working, but they didn't want it. It's almost like they didn't want it to work. You know, like the concept was cool, but then they just threw in all this.
Is it that San Francisco didn't want it to work, or is it simply that and that they don't understand? Like I'm not going to get into all the political details, the details of it, but I saw some arguments online where there's people saying like, there is no way in a post-apocalyptic thing can a woman put on that much muscle mass because that's just not possible. Yeah. And someone said, "Oh no, I can do that now, and all I have to do is eat vitamins, supplements, and steroids." And it's like, yes, but did she have access to the supplements? Because I've known some friends who went to the gym and were gym rats, and they tell me as a female when they missed a single session of a gym or multiple sessions, their body would start burning off the muscle. Their body would just start like purging it as quickly as possible. Yeah. And they used to arm wrestle because she was almost certain she would beat me because I'm lazy as shit. Yeah. But then she goes, "Did you used to work out when you're younger, Chris?" And yes. And she goes, "Yeah, your body is. You can tell that you still have that somewhat strength. Your body still retained it because of your testosterone." I'm like going, "Yeah, I know. Isn't that unfair that you work out? I don't, and I still maintained strength."
Now, not to defend.
I'm not saying.
I really don't want to defend The Last of Us 2 because it was a train wreck. But that character does play the daughter of a doctor. So theoretically, maybe she could get some of those supplements for a little bit, but not for, you know. initially, but
I think that's just look again. And are we reading too much into it because it's in the end of the day it's just a fucking story, like it's like But again, it's one of those, they're also trying to base it in real world, and so if you because you're trying to base in real world, when you have something that doesn't go fit into the real world, I'm gonna ask a question where it's going, hey, I like the fact that again, people said, oh, I don't like how she killed Joel. It's like, well, no, it's like it's the kind of game where Joel Wood's gonna die. Like that's just like that was telegraphed.
And that's like that's a real world thing, and
that's telegraphed from the beginning. But like I think they were saying like how she did it or how it came across where like she was so much stronger than him. Going, well, at that point, yes, congratulations, 20-year-old girl, you beat up a 70-year-old man. Like,
pretty much.
Do you feel like do you feel tough? Like,
yeah. But again, it's like I can see what they're trying to do, and it could have worked if they did it right.
Oh yeah, look, maybe
I love the idea of you got one character you know and love, and then it flips to you have to play as the character that just killed Joel. And then at the end, big boss fight, like you got, and you'd have that tension of like, I don't want any of these characters to die, but the new character, Abby, I think her name is, she just wasn't that likable, And so if you spend time trying to make me like that character, if you nailed that, then
but I think in their minds they did. That's the problem. I think in their minds you should have liked her.
Yeah.
But it's like going, but you didn't earn our like you didn't earn.
No.
But in their mind they're going, no, you should have liked it because because she's the new character. It's like, that's not how liking works.
Yeah, no. But yeah, like again, I could see what they're trying to do. If they probably had everyone that was involved in the first, maybe they would have landed it, but they just did not stick to the landing.
Yep, and it still did well. Like apparently, it still did very well in terms of sales.
Well, it would have been the hype because it'd been like, Last of Us 2,
Yeah.
And then it would have been like, oh.
Did that even come out this year, or was that come out last year? I can't remember.
No, it may have come out 2021. Let me find out.
Okay. Because I can't honestly, I don't even remember.
No, I don't, because I played it once. I literally played it once.
Yeah, cool. Was there anything else that you sort of that you played this year? Like that came out this year?
No, well, I'm playing FIFA at the moment.
Yeah, same.
I play it once every 4 years when the World Cup happens.
Yep, agree. Love the World Cup. Australia did very well. My favorite thing on the World Cup was all of the Australian fans who'd probably never seen Messi in his life, like constantly going, oh, where's Messi on the sideline? Like you see the footage of them at the stadium going, they were chanting, where is Messi? Like the clap, where is? And then you see him touch the ball and score, and they go, oh, they're going, yeah, that's how he plays.
Yeah.
he observes the game, and then when he sees the moment, he strikes.
Yeah,
that's how he plays. But FIFA, I did enjoy. I am also playing FIFA. I sort of switch between career, and I have two modes going. I have a manager mode and a single single player mode. Like the single player mode, I do enjoy it's really funny. I like playing that mode more as when I want to play the game. But the manager mode I like more because I like to buy and sell players and train them and trying to negotiate like these deals with these clubs. That's the more fun side of things.
Yeah, I think I'm about to do that soon. But before we go on, Last of Us 2 came out in 2020, so 2 years ago. 2 years ago. But no, with FIFA, I'm so freaking annoyed because I've leveled up my character. I'm currently at 94.
How did you get
93?
So high?
94. Because apparently there's easy ways to do it. It depends what you.
What did you do? What was your thing?
It's where you put all the skill points into your character. If you do it a certain way, then you get perks. If you choose a certain playing style, you get perks. I'm Maverick because you got Maverick. Virtuo and then
so I don't know.
I'm
not sure how you, How many seasons have you played now?
Like 4. I'm up to the. I got up to the FIFA World Cup, the next FIFA World Cup.
Oh, okay. You're way ahead of where I am.
Yeah.
So that,
and then
that
you
makes
know what
sense.
happened? I got to FIFA World Cup. I got to the semi-finals.
Yep.
And then I got injured. And then
Oh.
and then you're off for 7 months.
Oh, so that was a serious injury. So that wasn't even like a little injury. That's like a.
And it was literally I had to play 7 months, just going sim match, sim match, sim match, sim match, and I'm watching my club just get annihilated.
Which club did you choose?
Oh well, look. This is how I start. I start small, and then I want to go. So I started as Western Sydney Wanderers.
You went actually local. Like you started.
I went local, Australian character, local, and then I'm smashing it, and I think I'm on world class setting now, and I'm still winning comfortably.
Good.
Not like 20-0, 10-0 or something.
Yeah. But that's what I told you. I said immediately don't do like pro or like semi-pro because like the scores in those ones are just
it was but I start a small club and then I want to build up to my career, and now I've requested transfer and it's been like a season. I'm going like, why haven't you put me on the, and like, is it because I'm playing too freaking good? And I just want to be transferred, and all these little things pop up and say, hey, what's your response to these transfer rumors? And I go, so I'm clearly on the transfer list, but no one wants
no one wants you.
No one wants this Messi kind of player, because that's the kind of player I've created, right?
Oh, I did the same. I created Messi as best I can.
But then you know what really pisses me off? This will probably annoy a lot of people, is how you have your perks?
Yeah.
Like, and then you can invest in this and you can invest in that and you can earn your money back and invest in a mobile app or video. I like the fact that you could invest in a video game. And then it'll tell you, is this investment risky, low, medium, high?
Low, medium, high, yeah.
And then it goes, invest in renewable energy. And it's like, risk is low. And I'm going I'm like, okay, are you pushing the climate agenda, FIFA? Are you?
But also, the risk is not low. The risk is it really super is high
right now. Yeah, it's like, and look, I'm all for to get political. I'm all for renewable energy if you spend the time, building it up.
Look, I'm all for moving away from coal. It's called nuclear. That's clean energy. Again,
100%.
That's where you get clean energy. But look, I think you'll enjoy manager mode. Look, honestly, don't start at the Western Sydney Wanderers.
If I'm a manager, I won't.
Start in the EPL, pick a lower grade EPL team.
But if I am a player, starting as a player, I'm going to do the hero's journey. I'm going to start at some small little club, some 18-year-old kid, and then he gets noticed. That's what's supposed to happen. You're supposed to get noticed because you're playing like a god, and then they go, "Hey, come play for, the Premier League." Or
that's what I did. I just made my character English, and so he started at Leeds, and so then that was his hero. That was his hero's journey. Yeah. And I played in world class, and I scored like 30 goals in my first tilt out. But then for some stupid, I can't remember what I did wrong. I must have done something really weird, because then I got benched for 7 games in the next season because there was no explanation of why that happened.
If you punch someone in the face?
No idea. The bench me. Then there was reports coming out saying the manager's in trouble. I'm going, yeah, because he benched me. And I'm like, I'm the top goal scorer in the EPL, and they just benched me for the next season. Why?
Yeah. It's like when I got injured, and then I come back after 7 months off.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're back on the subs list.
Oh yeah.
They're going your top player is on the sub. But
still, look. Having said that, I buy FIFA so rarely.
Yeah, no, I buy it every 4 years. I think the last time I was really impressed by FIFA was when they did a story mode and you play a character and it was a little kid that was in playing. You had to do like a penalty shootout as a kid, and
nice.
then he goes on the journey to the career, and that was fantastic. And I think they did that once or twice, and then they went back to normal.
Because it's very like it takes a lot of work to do that.
Yeah,
and like the payoff is like it's not like it's not really there. Like
not when it's out every year.
No. Like at 2K do it probably better than anyone else, but obviously 2K do like a bazillion microtransactions, so they have all the money in the world.
Yeah.
Where the NBA player career each time is different. There's a storyline that runs through the season, and it's actually like you got to do certain things, and it actually matters. The storyline actually matters in terms of your career development. And it's very well done. They get very fancy actors, but then like you see how much that game charges players to do literally anything. And so like they have tons of money. So like I understand.
So it's like that Kevin Costner's Waterworld on The Simpsons.
Pretty much.
Like please enter 4 quarters. Yeah. And then he moves like 4 steps. Game over. Please enter.
Pretty much. Because in that game and in 2K, to make your character better, you actually have to pay for stats points. You can earn them, quote unquote, and take a bazillion years.
Yeah.
But then the storyline says you are the top-rated college player that was drafted in the third pick in the draft, starting player, and you look at your stats, it's like 60 overall, and you're going, I'm going to get killed. And so if you don't play, if you don't pay money, the story doesn't really work out for you, and it fails. So it's like So I do actually appreciate that FIFA hasn't done that with its single player stuff. So like I'll give them that. I'll give them that props. I don't like EA in general.
EA
but
games. Yeah.
I'll give them that to say that's good.
Well, any final thoughts, Chris? Any last minute movies or TV shows or things that happened in 2022 that?
No, I think 2022 was the year that we all just was hoping it was going to go quickly because, all of the games I want to play come out next year, which is obviously Final Fantasy, Diablo. They're all the next year. They're all the next year. Mandalorian season 3 is next year.
Oh yeah, cool.
So basically next year is the year that I'm going, okay, this is where the things come out. Having said that, memorable moments this year. Good. It was still a fun year. It was good to get out of the house after like 1,000 years of lockdown. And I can't wait for when they decide to put us all back in our cages.
2025, mate. That's my prediction.
End of 2023.
No, too soon. I reckon they're gonna. Because people have to forget.
Oh, yeah, no, that's a fair point.
Yeah, you gotta give them some time to go. What happened?
Yeah, you gotta let them forget, and then they go. I was thinking about that whole thing. Not to get political. my final thought is the government. People say the government has your best interest at heart. It doesn't. If there was a room full of 100 government officials, and someone came in and said, I'll give you each $50, but one of your citizens would have to die. You know what the first question they're going to ask is? If 4 die, do we get $200? Prove me wrong.
And on that note, if you have any stories, send them to thetrueandthefictional@gmail.com. If you have any death threats, you can still send them to thetrueandthefictional@gmail.com. If you are a politician,
and you disagree with my opinion on you,
you're probably retrospectively sending us an email right now. thetrueandthefictional@gmail.com. Check us out on Instagram, stories_podcasts. We have some reels we put up, snippets from episodes, and occasional posts.
And before we sign off, though, thank you all those who continue to support us, download us, and we do this because because it's fun, and we're hoping, obviously, when Jamie wants to help authors launch their career, but we wouldn't keep doing it if there wasn't an audience.
Yeah.
So the fact that you guys continually download, that makes us actually continually do it. But if you want us to, do more, put more effort into things.
A little more effort.
Put more, like, do more. Like, we actually have a few ideas to do, like audio dramas on this channel and other things like that. But what would help us sort of, like, again, pull the trigger on some of those decisions would be, obviously, if you guys, share the podcast with people comment, help us increase traffic, and then we can then definitely look at things we can improve upon and add more shows into next year.
Don't be afraid to reach out, because we love hearing from you guys.
And make sure that you make your New Year's resolutions realistic and not ridiculous.
The gym doesn't count, all right?
Yeah, look, going to the gym, if that's your New Year's resolution, that's the first one you should forget about, because you're not going to get it. So just accept that.
Yeah.
As long as you can accept you're not going to go to the gym, and then then you can rule that one off. You can move that one off the of your decision tree, and then find things that you really want to look at and change.
Make that your New Year's resolution.
Indeed.
And on that note,
we bid you
adieu.
Adieu.